Good. Kwame, how are you doing?
By His grace, we're surviving.
How's the constituency?
We're managing. Most people are engaging their usual business, farming and other things now. So once we have life, let's hope for better tomorrow. Okay,
so let's take a listen to, and I have a particular interest in the MMDC's delay and all of that. Dennis is a former municipal chief executive. Maybe he'll share some insights with us. What happens when there is not a legitimate MMDC, somebody's asked to act. But take a look at this quick SOT, and then we'll come back into the studio to have that conversation.
Appointment of MMDCs took a two-pronged, let me say, approach. The first approach being that the president at the regional level set up a committee. Persons who were interested in becoming DCs or MCs submitted their applications at the regional level. A vetting committee was instituted, and about 4 persons per district or per municipality were shortlisted and subsequently was forwarded to the national level. At that level, the president again set up a committee chaired by the Minister for Local Government and Rural Development, Honorable Damboche. I know they have completed their work and they have submitted the report to the president. As we all know, he's the final determiner in these matters as per the Constitution. So we are currently on the final leg where the president is currently going through the report that has been submitted to him, and just as you say, shortly the announcement as to who becomes MC or DC will be made. But the president also makes a point that, which we shouldn't forget, that currently there's no vacuum at the various districts, metropolitan areas, and also the municipalities. There are no vacuum because the old MMDCs are still in office and on a day-to-day basis going about their respective duties. So as and when he decides to make the announcement, which I believe should be soon, I believe through the Minister for Local Government and Rural Development, that announcement will be made. But I can assure you that it is not hampering development or the works of the assemblies at the various districts. And
that's Mr. Eugene Ahene, is the Director of Communications at the Presidency. Dennis, let me begin this conversation with you. You have been in that chair before as a municipal chief executive. Now, I had a conversation with some assemblymen who were saying that the absence of legitimate MMDCs are causing them a bit of a problem because the MMDCs have been asked to act, but they cannot take certain decisions. What's your perspective on this matter?
Okay, Johnny. Very warm good morning to our cherished viewers. I want to understand what they mean by legitimate, because the assembly system as we speak now is not at a halt.
Okay.
It's functioning as it should. And it's important for us to understand the structure and how it works.
Okay.
First of all, the municipal chief executive or district chief executive chairs the executive committee.
That's right, ESCO.
Which is made up of assembly members who are chairmen of committees of the assembly.
That's right.
Decisions that the municipal chief executive implements are not his decisions. They are decisions of the assembly and the executive committee.
Right.
He only supervises the departments and also supervises the day-to-day implementation of the decisions of the assembly. It is also important for us to understand that the municipal chief executive is not a representative of the people. You know, like the member of parliament who has been is a rep of the central government, a rep of the president. So it is to say that he's there simply because the president cannot be everywhere at the same time. So the president says, go to Ikuapem North, represent me there, and execute functions on my behalf. And these functions have been sort of enshrined in the Local Government Act 936. The municipal chief executive for most of the districts as we speak now do not necessarily have their tenure expiring.
Why so?
Because the appointment in 2017 was done, I think, ending of May.
Okay.
And then the confirmation processes started therein, somewhere from June. Even as at August, we still had a lot of confirmations ongoing for most chief executives.
But they're supposed to serve for 4 years.
No. So the 4 years for most MMDCs have not actually expired.
Okay. But for
it's
some,
based
it has
on,
expired.
It's based on when your appointments, your confirmations and whatever. I just want to pick the issues,
right,
in different legs. So that alone even tells us that we cannot have make a wholesale conclusion on even the expiration of the tenure for some of them. Again, the president has made a point, and Eugene clearly, mentions it, that most of these assemblies, in fact, none of the assemblies is at a halt. There is no vacancy anywhere. What is the decision, or what is the activity that is supposed to be happening at the local level that is not going on as a result of the absence?
The chief of staff says they cannot take policy decisions. If you're an assembly, a DC or an MC, you cannot take policy decisions while you're acting. What it means is that you're collecting all the tolls, property rates, business operation permit, all of those ones, but then you cannot take policy decisions. Maybe what it also means is that the assembly members can take a decision and then bring it to ESCO, which is the standard, for you to prune
the point.
And present.
Yeah, no, so
now once they present to you, if you are not supposed to take policy decisions, how do you take it to the General Assembly for them to approve?
You see, you go to a General Assembly meeting. You're a member of the General Assembly meeting. Your tenure at the assembly has not expired, so you're a member.
But in what capacity are you presenting the policy decisions to the General Assembly when you have not been legitimately confirmed?
No, the point is, we need to understand the issues. First of all, what policy are we talking about?
Okay.
It is a policy emanating from the assembly members at the assembly level, from the committees, which is chaired by the presiding member, not the municipal chief executive. So the decision of the assembly, the discussion of the assembly is not led or chaired in any way by the municipal chief executive.
That's correct.
It is the presiding member. And then they have all these discussions. Then they take their decisions. Only for the executive committee led by the municipal chief executive to supervise the implementation of these activities. He himself is just a supervisor, like a coordinator of the day-to-day activities of these assemblies. As we speak, these activities are ongoing without any inhibition at all.
Are you sure?
Of course.
So
how
do you marry that with the letter from the chief of staff that says you cannot take policy
Which
decisions?
policy decision? So that's what I want to know. Which policy decision?
You are the MMDC.
Because I don't know which one you are referring to.
But so what did the chief of staff mean when he says you can't take policy decisions?
What I saw, what I remember in the 2020 circulation, I don't have the letter now.
That's
what
right,
I recall, I think was it had to do more with an issue of, I think I saw something like recruitment, something like procurement exceeding a certain, threshold, that's what I remember.
But you know that.
But if you're not doing that between May 2021 and August or September 2021, how is that a big deal? How does that affect the entire?
Is that not a big deal?
No, it's 3 months. I'm even saying if for example you have a certain ceiling, I don't have the letters, I'll not be able to. If you have a certain ceiling on procurement for between May and September, how is that a big deal?
Is it not?
No. How is that? I just want to understand. Yes.
So now the MMDC or the DC is supposed to be in charge of the security council for the district or the municipal, whatever it is, MEXEC, DISEC. If he's not supposed to take policy decisions, or she's not supposed to take policy decisions, and there's a problem that requires for a security policy to be put in place, what does he do?
But you see, that's what I wanted you to explain what the policy
I'm only quoting from the letter.
No, so you have to explain to me.
I don't know what was in the mind of the chief of staff.
So the chief of staff probably wasn't referring to chairing the DISEC meeting and directing day-to-day security issues.
Be sure.
No, I am sure.
You are sure?
Yes, I am sure. Okay. That's why I want you to explain to me what you mean, because you seem to be using policy. You see, let's understand the issues.
Okay.
The DC is a rep of the president.
Right.
As we speak, there is a rep of the president in the district. he's performing his duties and functions.
Do you know if projects are ongoing?
Is there no DC? Is there no DC in Ayawaso West?
Do you know if projects are ongoing?
understand.
Do you know if projects are ongoing, supervised by these DCs, MMDCs who are acting? Do you know in 2020 have you initiated a project, for example?
If they have to,
using the district assembly's common fund.
If they have to, if they want to,
I'm asking you, do you know?
If they want to execute a project, if there's a project in the budget that needs to be executed, they can go ahead and execute it.
But he's not supposed to take policy decision. Can he approve a budget?
Yes, but the budget has been approved already.
No, can he approve a budget? For example, use internally generated funds?
The budget has been approved already.
Okay.
The budget is not being approved now. It's been approved last year.
You have been in that seat before.
That's what I'm telling you.
Can he use internally generated funds?
Yes, because he's working with an already approved budget.
Okay.
The budget is not now going to be approved.
Okay.
The budget has been approved.
But he was
the
asked
budget
not
for
to take
2021.
Financial decisions.
You see, don't pick
beyond a certain point.
It is not. You see, that's what I'm saying. If you want to have a conversation around the issue, you should have it on specific issues. Otherwise, you cloud the entire issue.
I'm not clouding it. I'm just quoting from the letter and asking you questions.
The Minister Chief Executive is in office. He's mandated to lead and direct affairs in the district.
Okay.
All of them are doing it.
Okay.
Every district has an MCE. Okay. Every district has an MCE directing affairs.
Okay.
If they have to execute a project and it's within his mandate per the laws, he will do it. If it is not, he will not do it.
Okay. Dennis,
that is where
you have been an MCE before. Now, the president nominates you, and then the General Assembly confirms you by 2/3 majority, correct?
Yes.
Okay. On what strength of law is the president asking somebody to act?
But I just explained to you.
How?
For example, if you go to a Cafe North, the Honorable Barry Mercy replaced me in August 2020.
Okay.
Has his tenure expired? I'm just asking you.
He's supposed to act for 4 years.
Yes, so he's done 1 year.
So if you have done... No, relax.
No, he's done 1 year.
Dennis, relax.
I'm giving you an example.
The life of the assembly is for 4 years.
Yes.
Per 936.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Now, it doesn't matter if somebody is replaced in September of 2020. We know that the tenure of the MMDCE is coterminous with that of the president. Correct? So that if somebody is even appointed in September and you were appointed earlier and he came to replace you, nothing stops the fact that when a new president comes, somebody has to be appointed.
At 936, a district chief executive shall hold office for 4 years.
Which of the sections are you go to?
I think 18 or so.
Okay.
Okay, where the district chief, the functions of the district chief executive. It says a district chief executive shall hold office for 4 years.
Right.
But the district chief executive shall not hold office for more than two consecutive terms.
That's
so
right.
You see, so I am appointed in 2020 September. Okay, there's no change in government. The president, even if there's a change in government, there's no law that says that I cannot continue my work unless the president.
You are misinterpreting the law.
No.
When does the 4 years begin?
The 4 years begin when I swear into office. When I'm sworn in.
The 4 years, because somebody has to nominate you for the district assembly to confirm.
So when I am nominated, Johnny, let's explain the issue.
I want to understand you.
When I am nominated as chief executive by the president, and I am sworn in at the assembly, then my 4-year tenure starts. Okay. Even if there's a change in government, the president who comes in decides to renominate me or keep me in office. Okay, my 4-year tenure hasn't ended.
So what is causing the delay?
Which delay?
The delay to...
The president has explained that, listen, we need to ensure that when it comes to the appointment of the people who are going to represent me at the district level, to help me in the execution of my mandate, I get people who, one, can represent me and represent me properly. 2, consensus should be built amongst all stakeholders within the district to ensure that his work or his tenure within the place will be peaceful and then smooth. So as we speak now, he says, I am building consensus. He has explained that. It's not as if he hasn't mentioned it. The president has explained that.
He promised us that we are going to vote for the...
Let me answer this one and I'll come to that one. The president explains that I am building consensus. I need to ensure that across the country, once these appointments come out, I am not going to have agitations because, in the past, We've constantly have agitations when it comes to appointment of MMDC.
Even after vetting them?
Even, yes, after all the issues, we always have it.
Even after
you have
vetting
chiefs,
them?
Yes, you sometimes have chiefs coming up, you sometimes have market women, you have all this. He said, listen, it is important that we have broad consultations when it comes to these things. Even though it is his mandate, it is important that he gets the involvement of chiefs, opinion leaders, even the same assembly members who are going to be voting. It's important that some of them get
Do you
involved.
realize that the
And
assembly
is what
members
he's
are
doing.
not happy about the situation?
Which assembly member has complained?
I've hosted a lot of them, including Chalog.
I am coming
Dr.
from.
Fiadomo. He's not happy.
I am coming from. See, we have 260 assemblies. We are all independent.
Okay.
I am coming from Equiapim North. My assembly members have not complained. It's important
It's
that
an NPP stronghold.
assembly members, all assemblies are independent
It's
of
an
each
NPP
other.
stronghold.
All assemblies
It's an
are.
NPP stronghold.
Well, what has that got to do with? What has that got to do with the
They
assembly
cannot
members?
complain.
You raised an issue, so can I say that those who are complaining are NDC assembly members?
don't know.
Exactly. So if you bring that in, then that's what I would say. Then I'm telling you that those who claim are complaining are NDC assembly members.
They are.
That is not the case.
Okay.
No, you are saying it.
So every assembly member who is complaining is an NPP.
Every assembly member who is not complaining is an MPP member. Is that what you're saying?
No.
Exactly.
I'm
so then
asking you questions.
I am putting the question to you.
I don't answer questions.
Exactly. So the point you need to understand is that the assemblies are independent of each other.
Okay.
So no assembly member can sit in Ayawaso West and come and speak for me in Equiapim North, or Equiapim North can come and speak for me at Honorable MP's district.
Yeah.
It is important that we establish that.
So you see nothing wrong with the delay. You see nothing wrong with people being asked to ask.
It is fine and okay if the appointments come early, even if it comes today.
Okay.
But if the president says, I need to ensure that I get the right people, two, I get the right cooperation around my appointment, let's give him the chance.
Kwame.
Let's give him the room to get his appointment done so that these people will execute the mandates properly.
You are a member of your assembly by Article 936. You are supposed to be sitting in there. What do you know from where you sit? The delay, Dennis says there's nothing wrong. What do you say?
Well, good morning, Mr. Hughes, and good morning to my new friend, former Honorable Dennis.
Fine gentleman.
Yes, it's the first time I've met him.
Yeah.
Good morning to your cherished viewers, especially those viewing us from Adaklu, who use this platform as an avenue to know what's going on in the country. We appreciate what you do. With regards to the current situation, where perhaps this could be the longest, I may be wrong, but this could probably be the longest period in our recent history where we are in the 8th month and the MMDCs have not been appointed. And I know we had similar situation in 2009 and people were complaining how come President Mills was keeping MMDCs appointed by President Kufuor for, I think, up to 6 months or so, thereabout. I'm not aware of 8 months. This could be the longest. It is much more worrying when you know that this is not a new government.
Right.
In the case of President Mills, that was a new government. And he said, look, give me a bit of time. Don't just rush and throw them out based on whatever it is. And that was the beginning of his inclusiveness and all those things, and the latter stories. In the case of President Akufo-Addo, it's a continuing government. So he's already appointed one set of MMDCs who actually handed over. That is the point. Handed over their stewardship by 31st December 2020.
Dennis disagrees with you. He says, well, if somebody was appointed in September, they start a new 4-year term.
No. You see, the problem is with the way we interpret the whole thing. Look, you can't put something on nothing. The person who appointed you can disappoint you. The person who appointed you is the source of your authority in that appointment.
Okay.
But it is not only the appointment. Let's read Article
243.
243. It said, there shall be a district chief executive for every district who shall be appointed by the president with prior approval of not less than 2/3 of members of the assembly.
Yeah,
now, the convention, the understanding is that at the inception of every government, there's this process where the DCs are nominated and confirmed by the assembly. I get the point he's making that, okay, the same president who appointed them is now saying they should continue, but the difference here is that they actually handed over in 2020.
So when you hand over, it's a but you see.
But that's why I'm asking where that 2/3 majority comes in, because the president has to. The rule is that the president has to nominate you.
Yeah.
And then 2/3 majority of the assembly has to approve you before you get legitimacy.
Exactly.
So now that process has not been done. And I'm asking, you are a member of the assembly. How does the MMDC take a decision when it has not been endorsed by the people it's supposed to do?
I don't think even they are MMDCs.
What are they?
They don't qualify because they are not like some. You can say that they are not legitimate in a sense that you could stretch it by saying you've got 4 years. Look, even if you are appointed on the 6th of January of a certain year of election, on the 7th when the new government takes over, I wonder if you'll be thinking that you are still a DCE. You are not. You are not actually. You are. In fact, the president never even called them DCEs. I'm hearing from you, the two of you calling them DC. He said representatives of the president, because the president knew that that legitimacy isn't there. That is the truth.
How is that affecting your work? As
well,
a member
to
of
be
Parliament?
honest, I will not lie to you. I don't have much dealings with.
You don't go to
DC.
the assembly meetings?
I go. I mean, my internal issues there, you've probably seen some of them. I deal more with the technical staff of the assembly who award and supervise the things, the interventions I want to do. But by law, if you make requests and other things, you have to address it to the office of the DCE.
That's right.
So that, and in that, don't forget, that DC was created in 2012. For 1 year, we didn't have a DC because people who were nominated, the people said they didn't want them. But the assembly operated for a period of time based on the leadership of the DCD and others. So in the case of whether the assemblies will shut down because there's a so-called president's representative here or not, it's not actually. I agree with him.
The president said there's no lacuna, there's no space that's been created.
There
are
is
people there who are working, who are making sure that.
So what is the essence of putting somebody there who is drawing allowances, fuel, accommodation, driving the vehicles and other things? Why is the president saying there's no lacuna? If nothing at all, that is a drain on the assembly, because this person is somebody between a DCE and not a DCE. So you see, if this were to be, we are in a war situation, or we are in a very terrible situation where the president is unable to make the decisions, we can understand. But that lacuna created as if we are in a certain trouble. What does it take to appoint?
The president is spot for choice. I mean, he has so many good people to pick from, so he has.
But he has to
consult the chiefs and all of that. That's what then he says.
This president told us in the past that he was ready to go and everything, but it is the opposite of what we are saying. As we speak, many boards are not in operation. You know what I suspect?
No.
Government is unable to fund activities of local government. Government is unable to fund activities of entities. So it is a convenient way of saying you can't get your common fund because it's in a huge, arrears as we speak.
But the monies are being collected. Market tolls.
Well, in this particular administration, that is the that's you're talking about IGF and others. That one is in their bosom. They are spending us and how they wish. But I'm talking about monies that Parliament approved to be sent to them. They are not getting there.
How long is yours in arrears?
Well, I think almost a whole year. So since we started this, much of it is in arrears. Wow. In fact, the one for 2020 was almost just being completed. So maybe once there's no board, then the president can conveniently say, oh, look, we are not able to take a decision to spend these monies and other things because we don't have a board. And that is what they are doing. Road Fund and other things are saying, they had a board just 2 weeks ago. So, but my brother,
quickly,
the point here is this. We can't wait any longer.
Why can't you?
Look,
you don't have patience.
I am one of those people who think this constitution has served us for a period of time. The basis for which 1992 constitution was written, we all understand. But we've grown to an extent that this constitution needed to be reviewed, where the powers of the executive president, the overbearing powers, because you see, you keep hearing everybody say the president have the right, the president have the right.
But the president told us he was going to allow us to elect our MMDC.
Well, that is another story.
It was a campaign campaign message that we bought in 2015, 2016.
It's another story. And my party have got our own views on how he wanted to implement that
because
particular...
you didn't agree for it to be politicized.
Well, currently, once you see the two of us, we have political tags already.
That's right.
And I think a certain section of the public perception about us is a bit murky. So people think that for how Ghana has become so political in the church, in the mosque, in the house, at the studios and everything, perhaps we should try to shield a certain part, which is the local government, a bit. But they didn't agree, so we didn't get it. But I believe
wrap up for me.
The delay in appointing MMDC, without a doubt, is affecting Adaklu. If we had a DC, I will not say the assembly has shut down, but if we had a substantive DC rightly endorsed by the assembly members, that assembly would have been, even the DC himself, whoever it may be, would have had the moral courage to take decisions. Currently, the wings are being claimed. The chief of staff say you can't do this, and I don't think it's in the interest of anybody because they are drawing down on funding that they shouldn't.
Thank you. Great. And then you send your messages in, and we'll share it with the rest of the wonderful world. I see them coming in thick and fast. Dennis, let's talk about Agenda 111. I'm sure you heard the narratives. Some monies have been spent already. Somebody says the designs already existed. You are just paying CDPJ to do what is already existent, and you cannot do it in 18 months. And I'm sure you heard all those ones. What do you make of all these issues that have been raised?
Thank you, Johnny. These are not new feedback and reactions to such audacious policies from Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. I mean, from way back from opposition to when he came to government, there's been always some resistance, or so to speak, some doubts on some of the policies that he's proposed because of the audacious nature of some of these policies. I mean, we're told that there was no way we could fund a free senior high school education in Ghana, and that we could not find the money. At some point, even when we decided to use oil money to pay for it, we had some members of parliament from the NDC, some members of parliament from the NDC attempting to block that strategy. I remember when we said we were going to buy one ambulance for every district, every constituency. We're told that it was almost impossible for that to happen. So we've sort of seen this before. But one thing that I know for sure is that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is one person that likes to, challenge the status quo. This is a very, very bold, agenda set out by him, one that we haven't seen in a very long time for our health sector. As to whether it can be done or not, I think we all have to wait for 18 months. At this point, there's no point for us to be arguing and debating it. The same way he executed an ambulance each for every constituency, the same way he executed the free senior high school, the same way he executed the one district, one factory, that same way he would execute this Agenda 111. I'll tell you something.
Tell me.
To brief up. The basis for this Agenda 111 is what we should all be looking at.
What is that?
It came to fore in 2020 at the peak of the pandemic in my district.
That's right.
I remember very well.
April 2020.
Even in my district, where I have a very big, relatively big district hospital, Tete Kwashi Memorial Hospital, at some point, I was going around begging owners of hotels and guest houses to use their spaces for quarantine and isolation centers. You know why?
No.
Because it was during the pandemic that we realized that as a people, we did not have enough space, bed, infrastructure to hold our health situation in terms of a crisis like this. What Agenda 111 is seeking to do is to make sure that nobody knows tomorrow. If we should wake up tomorrow and there's another major pandemic, we will not go through what we went through in 2020.
And to beg people.
Beg people.
Already
and people
have
were running away
to
from it. And, from Medina, we have Lankwantana Municipal Assembly, Adenta Municipal Assembly,
Medina,
Equiapem South, Equiapem North, my area, Okre. Then you go to Koforidua, New Jabin South, New Jabin North. I have mentioned 7 districts.
That's right.
Would you believe that all the way from Medina to New Jabin South, we have only one district hospital. This is something that even I had never availed my mind to until we went into a crisis. Very few of us have actually thought about it in that manner. Okay. That for an entire stretch, and if you pick other districts in other areas, you would see that same trend. How can we guarantee the health of our people if we have a situation where 7 districts, large population, like including areas like Newday in South, Koforidua and all, do not have district hospital? If you go to Koforidua, the only hospital there is the regional hospital. The government hospital. And for this reason, what's happening in our areas is that someone who is supposed to just go to a CHIPS compound, so that when the issue is a bit critical, you'll be, referred to a district hospital. He's going to the regional hospital.
So it's choked.
When you go to Koforidua, they are treating malaria. They are treating jaundice. They are treating typhoid fever. And then those who have liver cases, those who have kidney, those who have major surgeries are being pushed on the side. And so in the Eastern region, they'll tell you that, once you're referred to Koforidua,
why in your media?
Because the system there is so overstretched that it's affecting the quality of their service. I am of the view that what we need to do as a people to support this project, to make it happen, see the light of the day, we must all do it in our own interest.
So there's the question about funding. You know that when the announcement was made, we were told that it would take 18 months and over 3 budget cycles. How long is one budget cycle multiplied by 3? And does it fit into the 18 months timeline?
I mean, in the first place, I'm happy the government was to build hospitals for us. I am sure the government has already thought about how they are going to raise funds to be able to build the hospitals. But it's okay. It's okay to interrogate how they are going to do it. Okay. As we speak, the government says, I have committed $100 million to GIF, for GIF to use to initiate these projects. And they will raise funds along the way to complete it. I think that even if government has to go and even borrow money to come and build 111 hospitals for me, I will be happy. I think that if government has to go and beg for the money, I will be happy. Government has clearly told us that they are going to work through GIF to raise resources on our own as government of Ghana to build 101 of the districts, or the district hospitals. And then I think the 7 regional hospitals, they will look for external funding to get it done. Let's leave government to concentrate on this.
You have not answered my question.
Let's leave government to concentrate.
You have not answered my question. I'm saying that my question is that government says the project will be done in 18 months. Is that not what the case is? And it says over 3 budget cycles. How long is one budget cycle? And then multiply by 3. So does it fit into the 18 months?
Yes, I mean, we don't forget.
How long is one budget cycle?
Let me take you through the budget cycle. Okay. So in November 2020, there was one. And that is where the 600 million was committed. Right. So for the 2021 budget. In the next 2 months, there will be another one. Right. That will be the second budget. Okay. And then next year, which is 2022, there will be the third budget. So that will be the 3 budget cycles.
So between November, let's say November 2021 or November 2020.
And this year.
Okay, this year.
We are going to have 2 budgets.
Okay, and then what else?
And then the next budget, the third one will be 2022 next year.
Which month?
November.
November.
Yes.
So that's 24 months.
No, I am telling you that the first budget was in 2020.
Okay.
That commitment has been made already. Okay. The next budget is this year, November. That will be two budgetary allocation. Right. Then the third budget is next year. But you see, you are getting something
next
wrong.
Next year what? No.
Next year, November.
Let's calculate. So if you start November 2020, okay, November 2020, then 2021 comes. There's another November. Then 2022, November. That's 24 months.
No, you see, that's not how it's calculated.
Okay, explain to me.
The contractor is giving mobilization.
All right.
He's going to site.
Okay.
He is working.
Okay.
He only raises interim certificates. In fact, he's being paid along the line all this time, all this way till. So he's done with the project. When the day you finish the project is not necessarily the day you get all your payments. In fact, there are retentions and all of that in there. Okay. So you don't necessarily have to find all the money.
But between the project November 2020 and November 2022, that's 24 months.
That is the payment period. That is not the project completion period. That's what I'm saying. That the payment period and the project completion period are not the same.
and you know that there will be money available so that when you raise the certificate, because I'm asking you this because you know the processes we go through when you raise a certificate before somebody gets paid and all of that, the delays that come along with it.
If you look at the 18-month period and then the budgetary cycle, it's within the contracting arrangement.
So the 3-year budget, 3 budget cycles is not 3 years.
We are going to have 2. We are going to have 2. The next budget to give us 2 of the
Are
budgets.
you counting media budget review as
No. November. The first budget is
November 2020 and November 2022 is 24 months.
You have
my maths is bad.
Yes, your maths is bad related to the discussion we are having.
Okay.
There's a project that will be completed in 18 months.
Okay.
18 months.
Okay.
You are talking about payments.
But you see, I'm working by your plan, Dennis. November 2020 to November 2022. That's 12
for payments.
12,
for payments. That is not the project execution. That's what I've told you.
Okay.
For payments.
For payments.
I am telling you that when you are starting a project,
okay,
you can even decide to give them mobilization.
Okay.
Then along the line, they raise interim certificates.
Have you given them mobilization now?
Some of them, yes. Some of them, yes.
How many? For how many?
I cannot tell. There are 111 projects.
Yeah, but for how many?
I can't tell.
You don't know?
No, I don't know. But some of them have been given mobilization.
At the launch, the MC asked the MMDCs who were there to wait behind to speak with the consultants. So this should be at your fingertips.
Oh, how? So 111 MMDCs, I should have all their data on my...
No, I didn't say
exactly.
That.
So,
but you are giving mobilization to some.
To some.
Do you know?
How? No, if you want it, you can always access it. No, readily no. How can you have it, early morning like this?
Early morning.
Yes, it's 7 a.m. So the point is that, let's understand the principle.
Okay.
18 months. How are we going to raise the funds? We are going to raise it from 3 budget cycles.
Okay.
Second budget cycle will be November this year.
Okay.
And the next budget cycle will be next year, November. By the 18th month, the project will be completed.
Okay.
That is the
point.
So
the budget cycle, and I'm saying 24 months. Now you are saying that that's for
budget
payment.
Cycle can be 24
That's for
yes.
payment.
Yes.
If you have not approved the budget, how do you spend?
Let me explain to you.
Explain.
Even when you are paying, you always hold what we call the retention.
That's
that
right.
one alone is about 10%.
Okay.
10% of the entire total figure. And then again, the day you finish the project and hand over to me, that's the day I give you the check.
Okay.
That is not the day I give you the check.
Okay.
So if you are finishing your project on the 18th month and I am paying you on the 24th month, it is within timelines.
I hear you.
That is why I'm telling you.
I hear you. So it's not 24 months.
It is 18 months.
It's 18 months.
We have done it before. We did it with free SHS.
Okay.
We've done it with ambulances for every constituency. We've done it to
but the
we'll do it with this as well.
Promised them 88 hospitals in 1 year in April 2020.
Who promised that in 1 year?
The president said
you are the one who said.
No. Slow
the president said that.
We heard the president on Sunday.
He said that.
He's a fellow Ghanaian. And he mentioned
the
districts.
Say what he said. Say what he said.
No, I can't speak like the president.
Play what he said. Play what he said. The 88.
Play the video.
Did the president not promise that?
No, you're not. I say play what he said.
Did the president not promise that? April 2020.
He promised that what?
That 88 hospitals will be completed in 12 months.
In 12 months, starting from when?
July.
April.
Did he tell you that he's starting from April?
No, yeah,
he said immediately.
Play it. He said immediately. Play it.
So he did say in April. That was his 8th state of the Union address.
Did he say in
He said it was
April?
going to start in
Are you
July.
denying what the president said?
Play it. No, I'm not denying. I'm
July
saying I want to pick you on your words. Play it.
Are you denying what the president said now?
Oh, why deny what?
My brother.
Deny what? I am telling you that the president said he will build 88 hospitals.
Yes.
You are saying in a year.
Yes.
Starting from when? Did he say that?
No, he did. He said from July.
Play it.
Play
it. You play that.
So on what strength did Kojo Upon Nkrumah hold a press conference?
And then wait.
To come and say that.
And then wait.
Now for the 1 year you were doing consultations and all of that.
That is why I am asking you that when. That is why I was asking you that question.
I'll play that tape for you as your birthday gift.
And then just to answer you.
Yes.
The 88 district hospitals that the president mentioned are part of the 111 that are going to be executed.
I agree. I'm saying that he promised that 88 were going to be constructed in 1 year.
It is going to be done now.
1 year
it is going to.
He didn't do it.
It is going to be done now.
Can we trust you?
You were pessimistic about senior high school.
No.
You were.
I wasn't.
You were.
I wasn't.
You were pessimistic about free senior high school, and it's been done.
Manufacturing my consent.
Will be done.
You are manufacturing my consent.
You were pessimistic.
Tell them you didn't
about
find
free
me.
senior high school.
Tell them you didn't find
but
me.
But it was done. In
Bella,
that same manner, the hospitals will be built.
So
tell them you didn't find me.
You
were pessimistic, and it was done.
I'm very optimistic.
I hope you get to play it.
I'm very optimistic about election of MMDCs.
111. It will be done.
MMDCs.
You were pessimistic about free senior high school. It was done.
I wasn't
that same way, 111 will be done.
I wasn't pessimistic.
You were.
Wait, is it Dennis's birthday today?
No.
Yeah, it's his birthday.
Oh, you said it's his birthday present. So
no, give it to me as a week present.
I'm waiting to see what
let's go.
Say about this. But let's read some messages. Good morning, TV3. I want to ask, is it the responsibility of citizens to construct roads, or is it the responsibility of government? Because we were made to contribute money per head, and that was what was used to construct the Shikakope Road in Denu. That's Yao from Denu. Okay, the assemblies don't only rent offices. The MCEs and DCEs abandon their official accommodation, occupying their own homes, and they take rent from the taxpayers.
Are you serious?
Good morning, Johnny and Bella. I'm Zida Dauda from Wassa Ekropong. You're doing a great job. My interest is the assembly task force that goes to work only during the day. In Amenfi East, they close at 3 p.m. after collecting their 2 CDs from the market women and street sellers. They basically do nothing after 3 p.m. Can't they be divided and do something different? Okay. Good morning, Johnny. In fact, the youth of this country are not safe at all when it comes to employment. Can you imagine I wrote licensure exams and have all the necessary qualifications to be posted into Ghana Education Service, but still at home for 2 years now? Most of my friends graduated from UEW. Most of the friends I graduated with from UEW are all in the house. Yes, the government always talks about employing most of the youth. Please come to our aid because frustration is gradually killing us, Mr. President. That's Lawrence from Ho. Hi, TV3. Please, is COVID-19 test free in our hospitals? Please investigate. Clients are paying 300 Ghana cedis. If I walk in voluntarily to do a COVID test, do I need to pay? That's Kosi from Tema. Well, as far as I'm concerned, it is not free.
Right.
You have to pay some amount of money. Yeah. And it depends on which
But it has to be
hospital.
Based on referral.
Yeah. Well, good morning, Newday, Johnny. Have you worked at the local government before? You seem to have a comprehensive idea of the structures and operations. Your argument is so valid. Media General has an intelligent team. Keep working hard. God bless the entire staff. That's Yaobot from Achimoda.
I've not worked there before, I beg you. I just read.
I'm an assembly member in one of the metropolis, and after our authority and general house meetings in November 2020, the mayor has not come to the office yet, and yet they pick salaries. Is this not financial loss to the state? Okay, good morning, Johnny. Please help me tell the MPP man that he's not there to fight with you. For that matter, he should take his time and answer your questions for us to get him clearly. That's Kennedy Ahiadome from Dambai. And finally, Dennis and his party have sworn to defend anything the party has done, whether right or wrong. He always has a problem with the host of the program. D. Nula, socialist, a shy man, fix the country member. Yeah.
Dennis owes us fufu. He has to bring the fufu, but we'll wait. Take a listen to the president in April 2020, you know, speaking to the nation and telling us about the promise of 88 district hospitals, what has now become Agenda 111. He said it was going to be done in 1 year. Take a listen to the President of the Republic. Well, we're trying to fix that for you, Kwame. Let me come to you. So, are you being pessimistic about a project that will help all of us and save all of us? Because we have 111 hospitals working up and functioning, Dennis will not travel to the US for medical care. You will not. I will not. So, well, are you being pessimistic?
No, Mr. Hughes. On an ordinary day, I have the minority constantly supports government when they embark on any infrastructure development project. The Hansard will bear us out. On the few occasions we raise red flags, it turns out to be laced with corruption, breach of procurement processes and other things. And there's a litany of them. Right. And Mary, whatever you can call them. So we are not against that. Secondly, I disagree with anybody who says this is the largest in our history.
Why do you say
that? At a point in time, we were spending
about $1 billion either building or retooling health facilities in our country under President Mahama. I mean, the list of the projects, Legon Hospital, Ridge, some in Ashanti, all of them are there. So let's get it clear. This is not the first time we have embarked on this. In terms of numbers, calling it the sloganeering and other things, let's face it, NPP does better than NDC when it comes. Look, they took OSA, Green Line, all those things that existed all along. All they did was to buy new buses, and they made it Metro Mass as if it's something new. NDC came, bought new buses as well.
Called rebranding.
Yeah, call it bought new buses, never change it. Secondary schools existed. President Akufo-Addo started calling senior high school as if that it is something new. Digitization. Look, digitization process started long under PNDC, NDC, when even mobile telephony, everything, all these payment platforms, e-governance, e-parliament, all of them existed. NPP forcing themselves to make it look like it's Dr. Baumia who brought it. So they are better than us. But let's go to the substantive point. Mr. Hughes, the idea of building district hospital in every district hospital found expression in the manifesto of NDC. You can check it. Wait, look, I'm not saying they are doing what I'm happy with it.
Are you saying they are copying your manifesto? Oh,
I'm just saying that Media General is a very credible read our manifesto and find out who was more explicit about that. Free SHS. You notice that the story. Okay, NDC say let we progressively free. They say they will start everything. When they came, they said, oh, we didn't mean that everybody will be fees will be paid for. We only mean we'll start from first year. Okay. But today, when it comes to this,
what have you found with
I
see you brought a lot of documents.
I can tell you this. For me, the problem I have with this is the sloganeering, one of them which will be proved right now. Almost all the healthcare projects that have been initiated under the NPP, the closest I can understand currently, which is a new project, is maybe just a month old on site. In fact, the contractors for Eastern Region Hospital just turned up on site 2 weeks ago. Wow. La General Hospital, nothing is happening.
Are you serious?
Shamar District Hospital, nothing happening. So when we come to record, the truth is that NPP is apprehensive because, as we speak, there's no record of even a polyclinic initiated and completed by NPP in 5 years.
You have a problem with the project coming
from
the Chief of Staff?
The current problem we have is that whilst in 2019, the government published a document suggesting that sole sourcing was a drain.
Need to hold it still so we can see.
Sole sourcing was a drain and a possible way of corruption. And so they published this, that they saved a certain amount of money. And if you read this document, let me tell you, it said the mandate of the PPA, we exist to harmonize procurement processes in the public and other things to ensure funds and public procurement is carried out in a fair, transparent, and non-discriminatory environment.
What has been done contrary to that?
When the president, for the first time in our history, decides that he himself, under his office, will select contractors and consultants for 88 projects, he can only suggest to you that there's a personal interest.
The president said this is a very important project.
Listen.
And so it must be watched.
NDC said we are going to build 200 secondary schools. We never set up a unit under the presidency and let President Mahama be the one. Currently, even presentation of the drawings were done to the president. So the president single-handed, because it's sole sourcing, there was no tender or anything, decided that David Ajay, architect said David Ajay, who always, he's a world-class architect, but 99% of the works he's done in the world was through bidding. He's never done a bid in this country. In fact, are you aware that the president fooled the Institute of Architects by telling them that...
How do you mean?
He told them that they should help him select consultants who will be supervising the work. And they presented a list of about 24 architects and consultants to them. In the mind of the president, he's already selected David Ajay. So though David Ajay was not part of the process...
But if he was part of the 23 or 24...
No, he was not. Because, look...
He was not?
He was not. Because David Ajay will not subject himself to Ghana Institute of Architects. I'll give you an example. I am saying I trained in London. Right. I chartered as an architect in London. When I turned up in this country, I was made to go through the process of becoming a Ghanaian chartered architect. Okay. So he doesn't want to do that. And the problem is that, listen, let me tell you. Yeah. The president basically caused PPA to give him a sole source approval to recruit all the contractors and consultants. But by the way, the reason this is even more dangerous is that when you want to do a sole source procurement, do you know what you have to do?
Tell me.
You have to select the service provider in advance of writing to PPA. In effect, it means the president has already identified who the contractors and the consultants will be before going to PPA.
But if he believes in them, why not?
Mr. Hughes,
Yes, sir.
there's only one reason why the president did this. If you read what this personal, the president and his government want to raise funds for Dr. Bawumia, and I'm telling you, let me tell you, I'm telling you, look, listen, if you read this, this says that this exercise was meant to be transparent and save money and corruption. In fact, PPA Act exists to stop corruption. Currently, President Akufo-Addo is the only president we know that has arrogated to himself to recruit all this number of people.
You're saying that this is to raise money for Dr. Bawumia.
Let me tell you,
to do what?
This is not different from what the road minister is doing on the motorway. Okay. The same way they did the PPP program, all the contractors didn't pass, but they selected Motor Angels single-handedly said that they want to give him 750 million.
I need clarity. You say you are doing this to raise
I'm saying that
for Dr. Bawumia.
I'm saying that
to do what?
The only reason the president of Ghana, for the first time in our history, have decided to personally select contractors, consultants for 88 projects is for him to have a direct control over the financing, and perhaps I'm hearing that just to raise funds to support Dr. Bawumia's bid for the presidency.
Okay, thank you. No,
but this look,
almost everything you've spoken about.
Mr. Hughes, this is.
But you spoke first.
Mr. Hughes, the easiest way to steal money from the public this thing is to conduct this huge number of sole sourcing, and when the president himself is involved.
I gave you your time to speak on.
So on the contract issue, I won't respond.
No, you started. Okay, Danny, hold on. But if I give you, I will have to give him. I give you a chance.
I'm just speaking. He's put out falsehood.
Well,
like what?
I give you a chance.
Like Dr. Bawumia and all of those things false.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I am saying that.
Even the drawings were not from this thing.
Number one, it cannot be that you come and sit here and say that the president is.
Turn on the.
You come and sit here and say that the president
is personally
taking control. That's false.
Who selected?
Honorable.
Okay.
Number two.
Was there bidding? He said there was no bidding.
Number two.
He said there was no bidding. Was it done? Was it done?
Why?
Was bidding done? Open tendering. Was it done?
Open tendering is not the only process for procurement.
Was it done?
It is not the only process for
procurement. Was it done?
Number two.
Was it done? Answer the question.
Let me make my point. When I finish, I'll respond to your questions.
No, I want you to answer. I asked him questions too.
When I make my point, then I can respond to your questions.
Okay.
Because otherwise you distort me.
What's your point?
Number one, it is not true that the president is personally selecting contractors.
Okay.
It is not the president.
Okay.
That is number one.
Who is selecting?
It is not the president.
Who is selecting?
It is at the office of the chief of staff. It is not the president.
Okay.
Number two, it is a palpable falsehood that the president is picking contractors so that he will raise funds for Dr. Bawumia. You see, even these hospitals we are building, they are 50% cheaper than the hospitals they built. And so if anybody wanted to steal money, we would have built the hospitals.
So Shama at 32 million. It means you were stealing money. No, Shama at 32 million. Does that mean you were stealing money? This Shama.
Why would you do this? I sat down, allowed you to
Dennis,
speak.
go ahead.
We've done it.
So Shama,
tell us. We have to go. Dennis, we have to go.
I am telling you that
they would catch us.
The cost of building these hospitals and Nana Danko Akufo-Addo is 50% cheaper.
He's putting Shama to
Shama, we are building 111 hospitals at 17 million. Me say we are building at 17 million.
What about Shama?
That is how much we are building it. 111. And those 111, they are cheaper, 50% cheaper than how much.
What about Shama?
Hold on. Now you have made your point. Let me ask you my question. You
didn't allow me to make my point. You interjected.
Was there open tendering?
Open tendering is not the only form of procurement in this country. It was sole sourcing. Yes, it is legitimate.
The chief of staff is the one heading this committee to ensure that the projects are done. Does the chief of staff not yield to the president and the vice president?
Does the minister of health not yield to the president?
Okay.
Hold on. Does the minister of health not yield to the president? So if the procurement is done at the ministry of health, doesn't he yield to the president?
Okay.
What kind of logic is this?
Okay.
Does the minister of health not yield to the president? So you are saying that
So
because
why
you are
the
saying
Minister
that
of Health not
hold
in
on, you are
charge?
saying that because the Minister of Health is not the one procuring and it is the Chief of Staff, he is yielding to the President.
What is the interest of the President?
Who does the Minister of Health report?
Why is the Minister of Health not in charge?
I am asking you a very simple. You see,
Me, I don't answer questions.
simple deductive logic.
Me, I don't answer questions.
Simple deductive logic. Chief of Staff is an appointee of the President.
Right.
Minister of Health is an appointee of the
Okay.
President. Either of them by law can be mandated to procure the project.
I
You
hear
are
you.
telling me that
I hear you.
Chief of Staff
Okay,
is doing it
Dennis,
because of the President, but
that
it doesn't go to the President.
Municipal Chief Executive of the Kwapim North, and also Kwame Agboja is a member of Parliament for the Adaklu constituency. Dennis, here is your birthday message.
It's a weekly gift.
I heard of your birthday. This is a weekly gift.
Yes.
And here's the President of the Republic promising 88 hospitals in 1 year.
Such as heart diseases, diabetes, and asthma, which have proved to be the common risk factors for the 11 deaths we have recorded from the virus. The virus has also revealed the unequal distribution of health facilities, as we have tended to focus our infrastructure on Accra and one or two of our other big cities. But as we've seen, epidemics and pandemics, when they emerge, can spread to any part of our country. There are 88 districts in our country without district hospitals. We have 6 new regions without regional hospitals. We do not have infectious disease control centers dotted across the country. And we do not have enough testing and isolation centers for diseases like COVID-19. We must do something urgently about this. That is why government has decided to undertake a major investment in our healthcare infrastructure, the largest in our history. We will this year begin constructing 88 hospitals in the districts without hospitals. It will mean 10 in Ashanti, 9 in Volta, 9 in Central, 8 in Eastern, 7 in Greater Accra, 7 in Upper East, 5 in Northern, 5 in Oti, 5 in Upper West, 5 in Bono, 4 in Western North, 4 in Western, 3 in Ahafo, 3 in Savannah, 2 in Bono East, and 2 in Northeast regions. Each of them will be a quality, standard design 100-bed hospital with accommodation for doctors, nurses, and other health workers. And the intention is to complete them within a year.
Yes, complete within a year.
Within a year.
So within a year.
No, he said
within
now.
a year.
Now.
No, when? It's not completed within a year.
Boss,
you see?
the video was uploaded in April.
Yes,
The
but he
president
said it
spoke
should
in
be
April.
completed within a year.
What
He
are you-
never mentioned that he started in April.
What are you defending?
No, I am not defending. I'm telling you that you are putting out falsehood. What you are putting out
even
is
after
falsehood.
playing the video.
Yes, the president said that it will be completed within a year.
Okay, starting
That is
from
when
where?
it started.
Starting
Did he
from where?
mention when he was starting?
Oh, wow.
Did he mention? It's not a matter of wow. Did he mention? So you see, this falsehood has been put out there for a very long
hold on,
time,
hold on,
and it's
hold
beginning
on,
to look
hold
at it.
on.
Wow.
Truth.
I like it when
The
young people
president
defend
never, no,
with a lot
the
of
president,
energy.
you see, don't misquote the president.
Hold
What you put
on,
out
I
there
just
is-
played the video for you.
Yes, he didn't. He said within a year. Did he tell you he was starting January and finishing December?
When was he supposed to? Tell
The
us.
project is now started.
Hold on.
It started now.
Hold on.
I have just watched the thing.
We'll see you after the break.
I have
There's more
watched it.
here,
I have
New
watched
Day,
it. You have put-
sports, entertainment, and everything else. We only ask the questions.
He never said that.
Yeah.